Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. Today you have chosen to build a earbud case. So I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. It looks something like this. So your earbuds fit in nicely, cable wraps around, lid pops on, magnet holds it all together. Boom, 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 about that size. All right, so let's get started. This project just requires 3D printing, so we don't have to worry about plywood or anything like that. We just gotta get going. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start by creating the base of it, and or the outside case, and then we'll cut the outside case in two pieces, and then we'll hollow it out, and then we'll build the insides. So let's just jump right in. So I'm going to create a sketch. I'm going to do it on the base. So on the bottom plane, I'm going to put a thing there, and I'm going to create a rectangle, and I'm going to use a center point rectangle. And I'm going to click here in the center, and I'm going to move outward, and my dimensions are going to be 75 wide and 55 tall. I'm gonna hit enter. I've got my basic shape there. Now what I want to do is I want to round these outside edges so it's not just a little box. To do that, I'm going to use the Fillet Tool. So I'm going to go to Modify and Fillet. I'm going to click on all the corners. So on this one I have to click on one side and click on the other side that I want to fillet with. And then this side and the bottom I want to fillet, and then this side and that side I want to fillet. Oftentimes you can grab the corner here, but it's not letting me, so I'm just going to click on both sides on all of them. The fillet amount I want to hit to is 25. And if you're wondering, hey, how do you know all these numbers already? Well, I've already built 3 or 4 of them and figured them all out. So if you were building this from scratch, you would do the same. You would just start playing around with some ideas, and then you would 3D print them and say, oh, that doesn't work, and you would make those changes. So yay. All right, so that's the main shape of the base. We're gonna extrude this now up to our finished height. So I'm gonna hit E for extrude, tip my model over so I can see what's happening, and I'm gonna go up to 17 inches. Enter. That is the overall case. Pretty cool so far. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put this little chamfer on the edges so that we don't get that sharp corner there. So I'm gonna come in here and we're going to choose the modify and find the chamfer. Now when we're 3D printing, we don't want to do the fillet where it's like the nice round over. It's a really nice look, but it won't print well on the bottoms. So we're going to print both of these like this, and having a curved bottom here is going to be a really rough and ugly print. There's some overhang issues there. So what do we want to do? Well, we want to fillet this top edge, and I'm going to click on the bottom edge as well. And I'm going to fillet mine to 4 millimeters. You can choose more or less if you'd like. And then I'm going to say OK. Now we've got our overall shape of our case, and now we need to slice it in half. And to do that, we've got to find the halfway point. So a really neat tool is in the construction planes. There's one called mid plane. That's the one we're looking for. And we're going to click on the top surface and the bottom surface. And what that does is it creates a plane right through the middle, or right in between those two surfaces. So I'm going to say OK. Now I've got something I can cut it with. So next thing I'm going to do is come up here to modify, and I'm going to go to split body. It's going to ask me which body do you want to split. I'm going to say OK, I want this body to split, and my splitting tool, the thing I'm splitting with, is this plane we just created. It creates this red splitting tool. I'm going to say OK. And if I come over here to my bodies folder, I notice now I have 2 bodies instead of just 1. So I'm going to name them real quick. So body 1 here, this is for me the base. And body 2 I'm going to call lid. If you keep your stuff organized, you're going to be happy with that later. Now there's this distracting yellow plane in the way. To turn it off, it's actually in the construction folder. So I'm going to open the construction folder with this little arrow and hit the eyeball here to turn it off. I can always turn it on back later if I need to. Okay, so yeah, so now I've got 2 pieces. I've got my base. I'm going to turn the base off, turn the lid off. Now what I want to do is I want to hollow them out so I have some space on the inside. To do that, I'm going to turn the lid off to start with. I'm going to hollow the base out first. And I'm going to use the shell command. So in the modify menu, I'm going to go to shell, and I'm going to click on the face that I want to be open, which is this face right here. And I'm going to choose how thick I want the walls to be. And for me, I want a 2mm thick wall. And just like that, okay, I have it shelled out. Now I'm going to repeat the same process on the lid. So I'm going to turn the lid on, the base off. I'm going to flip it over. I'll show you what it does if you do it backwards. So if I take shell and I click on the lid and I go 2mm, now I've got this kind of bowl shape. Well, I didn't want that, so let me come over here and unselect that, flip it over so I can see the bottom, and I'm going to select here, and it's already 2mm, so I'm good. Enter. I have them both done. So now I have a lid and a base, and I can turn them on and see stuff. All right, next step is to build the inside part. So the part where the earbuds are going to go in right here. To do that, I'm going to turn the lid off so I can see the base. I'm going to create a sketch. I'm going to do this on the base of the inside flat part of the base. So right there. And when I do that, it captures the geometry all the way around, which is going to be useful. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a center rectangle, and I'm going to center it right in the middle of the base. And this one I'm going to do as 52 by 34. So 52 wide, 34 tall, and I'm going to hit enter. Now I've got my main rectangle. Again, I want to fillet the edges so that they kind of match some of this curvature here. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to grab in the modify menu the fillet tool. I'm going to click on, I have the center line click, which is kind of weird. So I'm going to click on this, this one and this one. Nope. I'm going to Control Z, something went haywire. Oops. Control Y redoes. So I'm going to grab the fillet tool again, so modify fillet, and this time I'm going to click on the correct lines, those two outside ones, these two, and those two lines. And now I've got them all, and I'm going to actually fillet this one to 16.5mm. What wonky thing did it do there? Control Z. Okay, let's try it again. I'm going to escape out of the tool, Control Z out of all of those fillets. I don't know what's going on. All right, so let me try one more time. Hopefully you're having better luck than I am. And it's going to give you these warnings that the constraints are being removed. There we go. And that's okay. All that means is that your rectangle used to touch the end of this, and it had to break that constraint to pull it in. A constraint is something that limits the drawing. Okay, so that's this centerpiece. That's the centerpiece inside here that the earbuds sit into. We're going to extrude this, and we're going to extrude it half the distance of the width of the earbud. So I'm going to measure. I'm going to measure the thickness of the earbuds, how wide around they are, and they're about 12. I'm going to round that up to 13 to give them a little bit of play in there. So we're going to extrude this up half that distance, so 6.5mm. So E for extrude, click here, and I'm going to go up 6.5mm. Enter. Now this is where I'm going to start building out the carve out for the earbuds. So I'm going to create a sketch right on this top surface. Stay away from these orange ones. You want to be on the actual surface of the earbud case. And then I'm going to come in here and create some sketch geometry that I can play with. I'm going to grab a construction line, and I'm going to start from the midpoint here and go all the way down to the midpoint on this side. And then I'm going to draw a line out here to this edge. So I'll say, when I get an X, I know I'm on that edge. I'm going to get away from that triangle because that'll fix it in place. I want it just somewhere randomly out here. And then I'm going to use D for dimensioning. And usually we use the dimensioning tool to set the lengths and sizes of things. It can also be used to set the angle between two lines. So if I click on this line here, the one I just drew, and then my first construction line, instead of a distance, it's gonna give me an opportunity to set the angle. And I want this angle to be exactly 45 degrees. And I'm gonna hit enter. And I'm gonna hit escape. And now notice if I grab this line out here and I move it, it does two things. One, it stays stuck to this circle here, which is kind of cool that it does that. The other thing it does is it stays stuck to this line, although it can go above and below that line. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw out the shapes for the extrusions for the earbuds. And as I do that, I can move this line up and down because I'm going to attach the shapes to this line and position it just right. So you can see how they're kind of at 45 degrees there. All right, so I think that's enough for now for this video. We're gonna hit finish sketch. Oh, and let's save our project. Oh my gosh, we didn't save the start. We should have saved right away. I'm gonna save this as earbuds. And then I'm gonna call it a video version for me. Don't call it this for you maybe. And then I'm going to hit save on that one. All right, so now we've got our project saved. We can close and pick up the next video. Good job, good luck.